watching and listening to Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube and your favourite podcasts.
Of the net.
It's the Premier League Prediction Show with Chris, Brad, and a weekly special guest here on Leicester Till I Die TV.
And don't forget to subscribe.
Right, Chris.
Hey, Alan, thank you. I am well. All right at the back. How are we all doing? Good evening. It is that time of the week again. Crackerjack. No, it's not. It's the Prediction Show. Almost crackerjack, because we have got a Jack joining us this evening. How smoothly this show runs. You wouldn't think I was working off a script, would you? Yeah, I'm not. How the devil are you all? Welcome along. It is Leicester Till I Die TV. You can find us on Facebook, Leicester Till I Die, the group, Twitter at Leicester TID, and YouTube. If you're not on YouTube or watching us on YouTube, get yourselves over there, press that subscription button, tweak me knobs, twist me buttons, and get liking and subscribing. You know I'm into all that sort of thing. And if you're listening rather than watching, and I don't know why, because you missed my beautiful persona on screen, but yes, it might be better if you're listening. We're available on all the major podcasts: Google, Amazon, Apple, Anchor, Spotify, Podcast Addict, just to name but 6. Well, I say just a name but 6. I could only fit 6 on the graphic. But there we go. Good evening, one and all. Let's say hello and welcome in. First of all, some people call him Jesus, but we know him as Brad. Good evening, Brad. How are you?
Evening, Chris. I'm all right, as always. How are you?
Yeah. I'm decidedly happy to say that it's been football's not been brilliant, and it's pissing down with rain here and what have you. But I'm decidedly happy. And I had a really bad week at the predictions last week.
Oh yeah, it was nearly as awful as Leicester's result. Had it not been for, I suppose, the only saving grace was the result was we A, managed to pick up some points, and B, Chris Wood was offside. So that's pretty reflectant of Leicester's result from the weekend, was how badly we did overall with in regards to points or lack of on our predictions, didn't we?
And it hurts me that we were relying on VAR, but hey, I did say it was crackerjack. It isn't quite crackerjack, but if I describe this guy, well, how's the best way I can explain that you'll remember him? Just think, you know, when I did those shows, Shit Shirt Show, it could have been made for this guy, but it's in the wash, and it's him playing back.
In the wash, so there's no need to be insulting straight off the bat. We've got to talk about your shirt tonight. Let's talk about that instead. Because
do you know what? I put this on in honour of you, sir, and you let me down, and it was too late to go and get
what's
changed.
Happened is it's come in my favour because now I can just make fun of you. Oh, what a silly shirt you've got on. How did you leave the house? Welcome to my world for the past 2 visits to this channel.
Can I just say that this was actually just a white shirt, but it ran in the wash. You know? Can I just say, though, I would say, where was your shirt from, Jack?
It was from the Southampton store.
From Southampton. Yep. Yeah. Australia, mate.
Australia.
Barrier Reef. Yes. I
mean, why are you wearing an Australian shirt? God only knows.
Don't you go with the hat? You know, there's a Leicester hat in Australian colours.
Well, you know, I have a preference in cricket towards England over Australia, so a twat and a hat. I suppose you're living up to you.
Yes, that's it. Get him.
I've been called a lot worse. So the fact that I got this having been to the Barrier Reef doesn't add any credibility to it at all. Then, Jack, is what you're saying?
No, because everybody knows that the most beautiful, bits of land in this great world of ours is the English Riviera of Southampton.
There's 3 words that you don't really put together very often, are they? English Riviera and Southampton.
It is. Don't let anybody take
isn't the most common link with Southampton involved in the infamous story of the Titanic? You know, like your club likes to sink to 9-0 defeats.
Right, it's been a good visit, guys.
Yeah.
That wasn't me. That wasn't
Mate,
me.
5 minutes. 5 minutes.
I have to balance out my bullying, otherwise it just seems a bit. You know, people might complain.
Yeah, I get it, but you know, there's low blows and there's low blows. You know? I gave you a good 2 minutes of that, you know, beforehand, before we came in here.
Can I just say though, you've got revenge because you sold us Vestergaard for £15 million.
I made him sound good though, didn't I? I did make him sound good.
You did. You know, I would have gone out and bought him after that. So how's the job in sales going?
Oh mate, you have no idea. I got promoted this week, thanks actually. Yeah, so going all right.
I'm not surprised when you make sales. That's up there with somebody selling London Bridge, isn't it?
You know, it's a shame to see him not flourish as much as we all thought he would, but at the same time, he wasn't. He did come in waves. It'd be really good for a game and then go out injured. So you know,
in fairness, that was probably the worst game he's had for us, wasn't it, Brad?
Oh yeah, definitely. And I think it was something we touched upon in the game. Vestergaard seems one of them that is quite literally a defender for his ginormous height, but if he's asked to command that back line, he's probably not the most assured. He always looks confused. I don't know if that's his natural face, Jack. You'll know from having to make the problem, but he always looks like he deals with a defensive error and then just goes like this.
Yeah, he's
he raises an eyebrow, like, did I just do that?
That is absolutely the case. He is a big man. You know, when we lost him, everybody said it's a big loss in the back, and you know, it's a goal threat. But in reality, if you look at his goals for Southampton, he's just a big dude in the box. And if he's that big, he should be pouting away way more than he is. And he's a bit.
Are either of you two fans of the Avengers at all?
Oh yeah.
I'll tell you who it reminds me of, and I'll tell you what, it isn't Thor, but it reminds me very much of Groot. Is it Groot?
Yeah, he's got that.
Very tall, but very skinny. Yeah. You fought next to him and he'd go down. Not as easily as the Burnley players, I hasten to add. But before we start, we've got a few hellos to say. James, the Everton fan, good evening, sir. How the devil are you as well? David S. Evening, Chris and Brad. Hoping we're on upward trajectory. Well, this is the roller coaster ride that is supported Leicester, down and then up again. Good evening, Terry. Brad, part one, we watch you on Leicester Till I Die on our 4K widescreen. Well, sure. Hang on. If you're watching on the 4K widescreen, I've got to do this for you, Terry.
Look at that.
No, don't make him think he's got bad connection with his telly. This face on there, I think all the pixels are messed up.
That's just scared the dog, by the way.
That the noise the dog even made that even other dogs wouldn't have heard. Seeing that face.
Hiya, Static. Welcome along. Can I just say, for Brad, and I'm sure Terry will get to this, but I've actually got a note written down for you. I don't know if you can see that there. Dog.
Right. Now, okay. So it looks like it says log.
No. It says dog. It was just me highlighting it. It's definitely a dog there. What have you been doing? Have you been worrying Terry's dog again?
I have no idea. I don't know anything about the dog. I know all the courts that tell you otherwise are wrong. I don't know.
I mean, you know, I should say though, Brad, that Jeremy Carragher kept his job at Sky after spitting at another fan. Getting involved with Terry's dog might just not save you.
I'll have to ask Terry's dog to just stand down as a witness.
Chris, you're right. Brad does look like Jesus Christ. I don't know what this guy looks like then.
Handsome. Smothering. Look at it.
But he look like best guy defending with them faces.
Yeah, the name is Bond, James Bond. Anyway, getting away from all this enjoyment, we're not here to enjoy ourselves. And we are here to try and predict some scores, which, totally honest with you, we did absolutely crap at last week. I actually have, can I just say, in my defense, we have two leagues. We have this league, which is just a bit of fun every week, me, Brad, and a guest. And we also have the longball.net, which is our sort of league with ex-player Ian Marshall. Longball.net, you can still join. You're a few weeks behind, but to be totally honest with you, the points aren't that brilliant. And in fairness, whatever I go for in this show, I tend to go in the opposite in the long ball, so I've got myself covered. but somehow I managed to do shit in both. So I don't know what you've not got a lot to follow this week, Jack, but let's just have a look at what happened last week, shall we? Yes, unfortunately we do. Let me just bring it up here. If my system is going to work for me. Here we go. Game week 6. Here we go. Yeah, Brad's on 22, I'm on 23, and Guest is on 21. I mean, it's all very, very tight at the top. Not that Jack or ourselves would know that because we're not up there. I am including myself in that, Jack.
Best, I don't understand that. It's not really on. Those 21 isn't on me either. Let's not say it was Jack's fault.
No, not blaming you, but as you can see, we've not gone up much at all. In fact, Sunday was a complete washout because nobody expected. Oh, this jumped so much; it's untrue. Nobody expected Arsenal to bring that result home, or Palace to beat Brighton 1-0. Which, look at that, I haven't even filled that in yet. But
well, that's because they didn't beat. That's because they didn't beat Brighton 1-0. It was a draw.
Was it?
Yeah, Mopay equalised in the 95th minute.
Yeah,
for Brighton.
Typical. After I turned it off and gone home, bloody hell, 1-1. Well, nobody got that again. Look,
Yeah.
that is typical. That is typical. Are you feeling lucky, Jack?
I am feeling luckier than I did during the quiz night. You know, that was a night to forget. So tonight,
Well,
I'm
for all of us, if I'm honest with you, Jack, for all of us,
I need to really redeem myself here.
Well, you can only go one way. You can only go one way. But let's. Oh God, let me get my breath back. We'll be right back, and we will have a look at it after this. So, first game, and it's only fair that we go to our guest first, and it is the Saturday morning BT Sport live game, Man United hosting Everton. Now, a few weeks ago, Jack, I would have had my money on United, but
yeah,
after, it's all gone a little bit wrong for a few clubs.
Yeah, this is the worst game because it's always you never back the early game, do you? This is the one that could always be a bit slippy and tricky. But at the same time, I don't feel like Ronaldo takes a loss lying down. Do you know what I mean? There's a part of me that feels like they do have that. As much as you don't want to talk about him because I think Sky have done enough. He does do something to that team, and I feel like. This would be a big win for them because Everton are playing really well recently. Rafa's doing a good job. I know how much they didn't want him there, but I think he's doing some decent stuff. So this was a hard one, but I am going to back United for this game.
Say good evening to Maisie, Man United fan. That was good timing there, Maisie, just coming in. You can tell this is all going wrong. Brad, what about yourself?
Well, you think the squad and capability of the squad that we'd be talking about Man United this season in the same vein that most people have about Pep Guardiola, saying that anybody, even Terry's dog could be in charge of Manchester United and should be competing for the Premier League title, and then they don't seem to be able to beat Young Boys or Villa. So, and that's with Ronaldo on the pitch. It's always kind of funny / commeristic to see Penendez miss one after all the dodgy ones he's got over his career at Manchester United.
Shame, wasn't it?
Yeah. This is one of them where I think if it's anybody other than Everton, you maybe go for an away win. But Everton are probably the most team that if they turn up, they'll put on a performance, and if they don't, they suddenly get beat by Norwich, knowing them lot. I know obviously didn't last week, but it would have been just as typical and unsurprising had they lost this. So I'm going to stay on the fence that I start on here, and I'm going to go for a draw because I actually don't think United are going to get the win back from this.
Not like you to sit on the fence, Brad?
No, it really isn't normally. Normally I'll put commitment to it, but I'm going to sit on the fence for that one. After the way
United
off week.
United Maisie there has actually gone for a draw herself, so she agrees with you. And James, good evening. He's gone for the Man United win, even though he is an Everton fan. I could never do that. The worst I could go for is a draw. But we have defended as a unit on. We have to defend as a unit on Saturday, but can't see anything but a defeat. But he would happily take a draw. I must admit, I think Rafa was a great signing by Everton. I really, really do. They had the players last year with Ancelotti. He got out as quick as somebody after a curry running to the toilet. But I think that the combination could be good, but it has stuttered a little bit. I mean, Everton started with the draw with Leeds, they beat Brighton, and let's be honest with you, that's no mean feat this season. Beat Burnley, again, that's no mean feat this season, but got stuffed by Villa, but obviously beat Norwich, which, even we managed that. But United, that loss. See what? And I'm not going to start a rant here, but it's funny how Harvey Barnes was stood in front of the goalkeeper against Brighton, and it was offside. Somebody stood in front of the Man United goal for Villa, and it wasn't. I'll leave that with you. I'm not bitter at all, and I will let it go. They beat West Ham, beat Newcastle, beat Wolves, drew with yourselves. I mean, what were they like in that? In that game when they drew with yourselves? Jack?
It was a bit of a mixture. Really, it was quite dead. But I think at Southampton, the recent games have done really well at just kind of keeping those backlines really, really quiet. We saw it against City as well, and even for the most part of the Wolves game, we seem to be shutting them down. So it's kind of hard to tell for that game alone.
Yeah,
but you have to keep in mind that was pre some of those signings. There was no Varane, there was no. I don't think Sancho was on the bench that day. So it's weirdly enough within that space of time, it's a much different team.
I agree totally. I can't see Everton winning it. I'm sorry, James. I could see a draw, but I think you said, Jack, I think they were stung last week. I think that will have hurt them, and especially certain Portuguese who shall not be named. So I am actually going to agree with you, and I'm going to go for a United win. So if anybody's got any money, get out there and put it on Everton.
Because none of us are back to Everton. That tells the story.
No. Now, we did mention before, I just got a sidetrack here because it is intriguing. Brad's canine activities. Now,
I didn't do nothing.
Well, apparently, part 2 of Terry's story, and he has been good. He's only come in to see you. He's not come in to watch the show. He did ask me last night when you were on again. We enjoy sitting quietly with our dog, Shorty. He is a good boy in the main, but mayhem breaks out when the doorbell rings. I would presume he's referring to your cuckoo clock, Brad.
I'm hoping he means his own doorbell and not the cuckoo clock, because that won't be going off today because there's not enough light in this room to set it off. Make sure it's not interrupting tonight. I'm afraid you'll have to wait till a post-match upstairs or downstairs that might set it off.
So do you only have a clock that works when it's sunny? I mean, it'll never hardly work, will it?
It pretty much goes from 8 till 8, but if it senses enough light, it can still go off throughout the thing. It's kind of set. I think it's set to the original British summertime in the hours of that. So I think it's after like 6-7 o'clock, it stops going off.
Jack, isn't that called a sundial?
I don't know. Mate, it's not my clock. That's all I've figured out from it in its time being here. It's
well, Man United, Devils United there saying Southampton played outstanding for City, also underestimated them a lot this season. Praise indeed, Jack. Praise indeed.
It's nice to hear it, guys. I need that. I do. I really do.
I think there's something going on. Hey, a 6-pointer here. Bottom, second from bottom versus bottom. Like we always call these games, last on match of the day, Jack, can you see a,
Oh, yes.
see a winner in this?
Do you know what? I can, and that's only, and it comes a little bit from their game against you guys, and I think that Burnley do have the capability of winning games, whereas Norwich do not. I see, Burnley be able to get something out of a game, and when I watch Norwich, I'm just like, oh no, this could be another derby season. This could be lowest points sort of thing. Like it just looked really bad.
Yes.
And Chris Wood's a monster. Does everything you need.
He does, but he can't judge offside very well.
But neither can most of the referees in this game. So
that is very true. That is very true. I feel a VAR rant coming on. I believe that Norwich have actually applied to the FA to change the name to Norwich 0. Whether that is true or not, I don't know. You've gone, like you say, on the back of the Leicester game. I can see where you've gone there. Brad?
This isn't going to be last on Match of the Day. It's going to be forgotten to put on Match of the Day. In fact, I can see a formal protest by Burnley and Norwich fans asking for this not to be put on Match of the Day because there's no way anyone's watching it. It's going to be a draw. It's going to be 0-0, and it's going to put everybody to sleep nicely. It might help my insomnia for the weekend, I reckon, because, draw. I mean, neither of them going to score.
Yeah, Maisie's gone for a Burnley win. Static says he's got a sundial in his garden. Nip out and tell us what time it is. Maisie, we've got a Maisie laugh. Norwich 0. For those of you that know a Maisie laugh, Static says Burnley should win, and James says Burnley 1, Norwich 0. Having said that, Brad, it was a fantastic game, Leicester versus Brighton. It had everything, and we were still one from the end. But we're not sort of one of the big six, are we?
No, we don't exist in the big six's eyes in the logical terms of Sky and BT. Around the world and other fans we might be, but don't tell Sky because they'll call it slander. So maybe we're just happily getting points around our bottom half of the leagues that we're supposed to be getting, because it's not like we've won trophies in the recent season.
No, not at all. Maybe says you can think of my laugh until the next time. We shall see about that.
That's the sentence that you need to end, Maisie, because that could get a lot of questions asked.
I tell you what, I should never undress in front of her. She laughs, guys. I reckon the game Burnley surprised us totally. We did help by gifting them the start, but which was never a good idea. I just think this could be the start for Burnley when they start to turn it around. I think if they manage to stay on the feet and don't keep falling down and time wasting, and any players that get injured actually, off the pitch manage to stay off the pitch and don't cheat and come back on. And what a shame. Let's hope he's out injured. But I think this could be the start of Burnley. Do I sound bitter, Jack?
No, that sounds reasonable to me.
Yeah, I think so. I think
wait until we start talking about Wolves, and then I can go through my little rant after the weekend.
I will await that. I will await that. Jack, I've got to come for you for this next one. You have an away trip to London to face Chelsea.
No, we do. Last few visits to Stamford Bridge haven't been all that bad for us, really. We seem to be a nice little thorn in their crown with Chelsea. And the fact that we've been keeping out these defenses so well, especially against the quote unquote big six sides, it's been all right against these sort of teams. It's just finishing. I think this could be a game where we go down there and just annoy people with. And here's the thing, guys, I would never do this on my channel, but because I'm just a visitor here, I'm going to do something I never do, and that's go for a draw.
A draw. Do you think that you're going to be a bit when people tarnish, Leicester fans tarnish Leicester with this, that we do well against the good teams and not do so well against the bad teams? Are you becoming that kind of way?
I think it's still very much luck of the draw for us. We're still getting used to a lot of these new players in the squad and what exactly is our system and how we're going to play certain games. And I look at this Chelsea game and I think Ralph, especially after the lost to Wolves, which was just awful, he's going to really want to shore this up and make sure we take something out of it. And if we can come out if we had beaten Wolves, it would have been a really good start to our season. To draws against United and Newcastle, and then a Wolves win would have been great. But now we don't have that. It looks like a pretty shaky start to the season for us. So getting anything at Stamford Bridge would look good. But knowing us, I'm assuming we're going to lose this, but beat them in the League Cup there in a couple of weeks.
Well, so they throw these games up, don't they? But no, I like the optimism. Can you be optimistic for Southampton, Brad?
No.
Oh, dude, come on, come on.
Okay. Hey, don't mince your words, Brad. Don't mince your words.
No, it's just more the fact that there is a little bit of hope, because I don't think anybody ever expected Chelsea versus Man City to end with Chelsea having 0 shots on target.
Yeah.
I think that was a shock to the system. It was heard in Tuchel's words that he felt his players didn't believe. But this is one of them where Southampton, for me, just probably give it a better go than people are expecting. But I just see Chelsea coming out on top. I just think Chelsea offer too much. I'll give you a little bit of hope. I think you'll win the League Cup match. I'll give you that one then.
Thanks,
I'll
buddy.
stick with
Thanks.
that one, Jack. But you're not getting any points in the league against them at Stamford Bridge, I'm afraid.
Oh,
He's
that's a
only
shame.
saying that because he knows we don't do a prediction show for the League Cup.
Yeah, but do you know what? I will, and I'll make you come on it.
He'll go for North Macedonia. He's backs
will.
them for everything.
Don't do me like that.
I
Don't
was
do me like
worried for
this.
Southampton this season, and I have got Chelsea down as my choice to actually win the league. And it is. I mean, it's tight at the top. You've got Liverpool on 14, Man City and Chelsea on 13. I mean, Chelsea are the only team out of those to have lost one. But I think they got stung last week. I think the worst thing that could have happened for you, Jack, is that Man City beat them. And I'm afraid oh, God help me, I've got to agree with Brad here. But I can't see anything.
My Emma all the time and wonders why he's near the bottom.
Yes. But I'm going to have to go for Chelsea simply because I think, like I say, I think there'll be Tuchel will get sort of firing after last week. And just for Maisie, she said I'd have to wait. I think we've waited.
Tell you what, Crystal Palace look really good recently. Really good.
that wasn't Maisie, by the way. I don't know who that was.
She's gonna love you, mate.
One more time. Actually, he's got a bit of look of Jack about her. Then it's you want to share there, Jack.
I thought it looked more like Mr. Bean, to be fair.
Brad, there's a part 3. Terry's drip feeding us this like Chinese water torture. Watching you the other day, the doorbell rang and proverbial mayhem ensued, but there was nobody there. And yet again, the doorbell rang a second time, more mayhem, but no one there. I think we're going to get a part 4 coming along any minute.
We're going to get a Netflix series out of this.
We could. One man and his dog. Okay, so we'll move on and we'll put Jack out of his misery. Well, I don't know, might be more misery because we're looking at a Watford game. Watford versus Leeds, Jack. How do you see this one going? Two teams that, well, surprisingly, other way around, Leeds have had an awful start to the season and Watford aren't doing too bad.
Yeah, it's all been a bit surprising, really. Watford, every week, I just assume them to be the team that drops out, going to lose again. But every time I look at the scores, I'm like, oh, Watford are doing stuff. It's really quite, really quite surprising. And although at the same time, it hasn't made me watch more of the matches. Out of all the teams this season, they've yet to convince me to tune into a Watford match. I Still more likely to tune into a Leeds match. But I think it's hard, isn't it? It's hard when you go to Leeds.
Yeah.
Always is. And I just
Depends who you know there, I guess, really, doesn't it?
The right kind of people, mate. The right kind of people. That's why you got to wear those loud shirts and you meet those sort of people.
Exactly.
But I'm gonna go Leeds for this one. I'm gonna go Leeds.
Wow. Yeah. The away teams aren't having much luck to this this week. Brad, surprised Watford haven't sacked the manager yet?
Yeah, only because it's just such a customary thing. I think he's actually written into the contracts that after 6 months they'll just get randomly sacked for a reason of maybe putting ketchup in the changing room. I don't know what reasons they give half the time. They just like to sack a manager after about 3 weeks. But in fairness,
is that because they need to catch up in the league?
Here we go. Here we go now.
I'm off. See you later, Jack. You give the predictions for me, mate. I can't take this. No,
I understand.
I'm off. I'm just gonna do this one like with my head in my hands here and just think about Chris's awful punditry.
Hey, you're just hiding from the dog. That's all you're doing, mate.
I'm trying to scare it. Yeah, I'm trying to wait it out. No, you know what? The way these prediction shows have been gone over the first 6 weeks. We've probably after the first week or so, we've probably looked at the form of the team and gone, Watford. We'd look at this and go, Watford are in form. Watford are always winning. Leeds terrible. So anything other than a Watford win sounds logical, and it keeps screwing us over. So for that reason, I'm going to go for a Leeds win when I'm actually confident of a Watford one. I'll do with you, Chris. I'll back Watford on the long ball, but I'm going that nothing seems to go to plan when we do it. So I might also be wrong and stick my neck on the line and go with a Leeds win. But Leeds are in trouble. Leeds are a side that need to be careful this season. But
definitely. And I'm torn with this one. I really am, because like you say. Sorry?
Who sang that song, Torn?
Natalie and Brugler.
That's it. That's the one. The woman I can never say her last name.
Hey. Football and pop music of the 80s and 90s. There's no end to this man's talents. Some would say there's no start to them, but that's another story. But look, I'm surprised at Watford. They were one of my favourites, along with Norwich, to go down. When I say they've surprised everybody, I mean, they've lost us. I mean, they lost to Tottenham, they lost to Man United, but I mean, the big games. This is Wolves. Oh, sorry, I'm looking at Wolves. What am I doing? Watford. They lost to Brighton. They lost to Tottenham, and they lost to Wolves. No, I was right. But they did beat Norwich again, which isn't hard, and they drew with Newcastle. Do you know what? I was tempted for a Watford win, and I know what you're all saying. Like, hey, go on, Chris. Don't be stupid. I'm then thinking, do I go for a draw? I just think Leeds are in so much disarray at the moment. They are this season's Sheffield United.
Cool,
they did so well last season, and this season, so I'm actually going to stick with it, and I'm going to stick my head out here, and I'm going to go on the parapet, and I'm going to go for a Watford win. They may come and take me away, quite possibly. Connor, got it right this time. Connor, how the devil are you? Welcome along from the good old US of A. So nice of you to join us, and nice of you to get your name right. And you've agreed with me. You've gone for Watford beating Leeds 2-1. I had Watford being 17th or 18th, better team than people think. Jack, I know it's early days. I mean, we are talking here, are we not, that this is only game week 7, but some of the results that this season's been throwing up are stranger than we've had for the past 2 seasons.
Yeah, I thought it was going to normalise a little bit this season and be very competitive at the top, but the middle sort of even out a little bit. But it hasn't, has it? It is still just crazy. And I just think maybe this is where we are in the league now, that it is just this insane up and down crazy league where What's what people come here to watch. It's what people come here to watch. Is this?
I was going to say, this is it. We love it, don't we? And
really do.
Whilst you want your own team to do well, of course you do. It's nice to see the Brightons up there. It's nice to see, teams that, that West Ham, for example, other teams, and it hurts me to say Villa, but it's nice to see these other teams doing well. I wish I could say sort of Leicester and Southampton this season, but hey, it's early days. Apparently, US government is in more disarray than Spurs, facing shutdown at the end of the week. Oh, get Trump back. That's what I said. This won't be happening under Trump. Nippon, good evening, Chelsea fan. How the devil are you as well, sir? Right, so, Jack, hang on. It's Wolves versus Newcastle, and that could only mean one thing. It's a Jack rant.
Right, here we go. Wolves then. Nothing. They got nothing to give. They were the reason we were so upset after that last game is because they had nothing to give. we should have taken full advantage of it, and it was a game of who can have a player that can do something outstanding, and we were just so unfortunate that Jimenez finally decided to switch on his boots. And we don't want to say we miss him, and I don't want to admit it, but that bloke that left us and went to Villa, he could have been a difference maker in that sort of game. That is where we need one of those players. But this is where we are.
I have to be honest with you. I did pop on because did you do a watch? You did a watch along. It was the right watch along, wasn't it?
No. We were at the Wolves. We would have been at the Wolves game. So probably maybe it was the afters or maybe the pre-show.
Maybe it was the afters. But and I must admit it was painful to watch you. I couldn't stay. And it's not like me not to comment and enjoy another team's pain. But I couldn't even do that to you.
Let's just say Matchday Vlogs views went way up this week.
You are proving TalkSport right that views go up when you.
As much as I hated that Ray Parlour stuff. It's all true. It's all true. but no, honestly, Wolves didn't really have anything to give. I really couldn't believe how much their players, much like Burnley, their players went down and stayed down for a long time. Yeah, they were time wasting from get go, and I know it's one of those things of like when it's your team doing it, it's it's a laugh and a joke, but it's like when you're doing it from literally, I think the first player went down 20 minutes in, and it was non-stop from there of just time wasting and getting just longing it out. So Wolves, for me, even that it's quite annoying so much that I do want to think Wolves might be in a bit of trouble this year. I don't think the team's clicking. I don't think that manager's, the one to getting where they need to be. And I look at Newcastle and I think, Steve Bruce ain't doing much either.
Look at Newcastle and laugh.
Yeah, you do. But that being said, I'm going to go for Newcastle. I am, because I'm a little bit bitter after the weekend. But also, Can
I just say, you're holding it in well, Jack. You are holding it in well.
Couldn't tell. I couldn't tell you like that.
No,
Jack, what I'll say is, wait till the opposition players actually kick the ball out themselves, can't stop and run off the pitch, but then walk back onto the pitch before they fall down. That's when you got to get bitter about the opposing team. But it would be a first Newcastle win this season. Brad, which way are you going to go?
I am sensing a lot of hostility here, and I like to keep Jack on before he decides to storm off. We'd have our first storm off on the show. We'd probably get a lot of views. In fact, I might wind Jack up more until he storms off.
Jack is known as the Piers Morgan of YouTube.
I've heard the rumours. But no, both teams are pretty poor. I'm with Jack in the sentiment that Wolves have probably fluked a few points this season because they've been reasonably poor. I know they got through our back line, but right now at the moment, anything could get through our back line with how disorganised and arrayed it is. Not just in certain performances, but the fact that it's chopping and changing each week due to injuries or reoccurrence of injuries. But I haven't seen anything from Wolves. They've lost that spark that they seem to have under the Portuguese poacher, league poacher in Nuno, who buys anything from Portugal. I think they've lost that impetus, they've lost that spark. And Steve Bruce just bores the crap out of me. He really does. I know there's people out there that make videos on it and go, oh, actually, he's not doing any worse than Benitez. Yeah, he really is. I know you're saying statistically, points-wise, he's not, but he really is. So I'm making a bit of a habit of it again this week. I'm going in the middle because I genuinely think this is probably the only game I feel has a stronger shout of getting a 0-0 out of it than Burnley Norwich, because this game just reeks of bad teams playing bad football and getting a bad result.
Yeah. Yank Talking Smack has gone for an away win to Newcastle. James evens it up and goes for a home win for Wolves. I had Wolves as a possible for going down this season. I think them getting rid of Nuno, or not getting rid, but the joint decision for Nuno to leave, if you believe the official line, was the big mistake. Sometimes, managers and clubs are meant to go together, like Sean Dyche and Burnley. And I just think Nuno moving on, I don't think he'll be at Spurs very long if current form's anything to go by. But he just seemed to fit there. There was the question, had he taken them as far as he could? But then the where he'd taken them was pretty good. To say they'd come up, they'd kept them up. There's a lot of other clubs that would have loved to have been where Wolves were. And I just think it was such a mistake. Him moving on. This, I hate to say I'm going to agree with Brad, because I hate agreeing with Brad.
I know, I hate agreeing with me. Look at my league position, mate.
This is what I'm thinking, because I was going for possibly for the draw, but I would mean agreeing with you. And you've been pretty bad with your predictions. Not that I've been any better. Look, I tell you what I'm going to do.
I am the Norwich prediction leagues. Don't follow me. Trust me. That's any advice to give to any future guests, including you, Jack. Don't follow me. I am Norwich of predictions this season right now.
He is. I mean, he did go from and I won't ever forget it, North Macedonia to win the Euros. And I have still got that video, Brad. Yes, before you ask.
I was so hoping to do a Greece. All right, leave me alone.
I just think I'm a bit like you. I don't hate Steve Bruce as a person, but I just think he's a crap manager. Yeah. And I think it hurts Newcastle. I think that Rafa's come back but then gone to another club. I just think Newcastle have got so many problems. Everything's just, you got the owner that doesn't care but won't sell unless he gets a certain amount. You got a manager that's not up to the job. And they are such passionate fans. And we know from our club what it means to have a good owner. Occasionally Newcastle, I mean, this stuff does 4-1, was it, back end of last season, went on a bit of a mini run to save themselves. I can't see that happening. I really can't see that happening. So I'm going to have to go for a Wolves win. And I'm surprising myself there, but I've talked myself into it.
Quite literally.
Literally, I'm turning to Brad slowly here. I have to keep this shorter. The Sky Sports Saturday night game, Brighton on the South Coast hosting Arsenal, who have turned it round. And I've got to say, Jack, and it does really hurt me to say this, they've actually played really well against Spurs.
Yeah, they did play really well against Spurs. I think Spurs gave them the platform to do that. They were, there was so much space. They were so open everywhere. And I'll be honest, my notes just say Brighton are going to win because it's Arsenal. And I feel like Arsenal getting that little bit of positivity, getting that little bit of that. Isn't it just the most? It's just Arsenal to beat Spurs 3-1, and then lose to Brighton the next week. To be fair, and Graham Potter's side is so good. Like, they're flying high right now. They're doing really good things. And if you were to ask me who's playing the better football, it's Brighton. Yeah, and, Brighton. Did Brighton beat them last season? They did, right? I think they beat them once and then got a draw at the other end.
Not sure to be honest.
If memory serves. So I just look at it and everything screams, yeah, Brighton's got this one. This is one for Brighton. Straight. So Arsenal Fan TV can get the numbers next week. I know they had troops back this week, but next week they can really get the numbers up again.
Yeah, probably. And Connor agrees with you. He's gone 1-0 Brighton. James has gone for a draw. Brad?
I can't believe I'm saying this after all the banter we gave them, but I don't know if it's because the only thing I ever liked about Arsenal fan TV was every time Aubameyang had a game, you got Troops going with his Abama what and all that. I don't know if you've seen it. Abama who?
No.
The comeback one this week was pretty special.
Yeah, he ripped his vocal cords by going with his full-on Ababa broadcast yang thing. That just made me chuckle. And I was the only one that, when Chris was cheering for Spurs after our draw against Burnley, went, no, I don't really give a rat's ass of the score. I jokingly said at that point, didn't I, Chris, that it could be 6-0 to Arsenal, I wouldn't care. But at one point, I was crapping myself that the point, one time I predict 6-0, it nearly happened. But
Yes.
Arsenal all of a sudden coming up Millhouse, as the Simpsons is as the expressions is. And winning games. They're beating teams in and around them in the bottom half of the table. They're ahead of us. They've just won a North London derby. I see all good things coming to an end, and I'd love I'd love football to catch up.
You're going for Arsenal then, I take it.
Yeah, I'm going for Arsenal, man.
Do you know something that scares me is we were talking about Man United, Maisie pops up. And just when we're talking about Arsenal, Melina pops up. Good evening, Melina. I know. It's almost magical. And talking about magical, of course, we are talking about Graham Potter's team. But Melina, I hope you're well. How the devil are you? Welcome along. Just shows Brighton are one of those clubs that just show I really, really do know absolutely nothing about football. Because, again, I predicted them to be towards the bottom again. So they're one of those teams that I hate teams that just manage to stay up every season. You know, remember Wigan? They managed to do it, just staying up. I'm thinking, and I feel, and Newcastle's the same. Just go down and give somebody else a chance. And well, apart from Norwich, who waste their opportunity every time they come up. 19 other clubs cheer because they don't realise it's 6 points that they've got. Arsenal, and I'm sorry about this, Melina, but when I'm looking, apart from Tottenham, who were pretty bloody awful, to be honest with you, and I know you can only play who's in front of you, but you did destroy them in that first half, but they were awful. And let's be honest, you beat Burnley, 1-0. All right, we couldn't. And you beat Norwich 1-0. So this sort of process that's coming back, yes, you've won 3 in the trot, and I'm pleased for you because we're friends. I'm going to go for Brighton for this one because I just think that you are. The comeback will come to an end, if that makes sense. And I just think, like I say, had you sort of beaten Man City, Chelsea, and Man United, I might be able to go different. But I'm sorry, but I can see Brighton. Brighton, I'm going to give credit to them. Like I say, I didn't think they'd do this well, and all credit to them for doing this well. And maybe Graham Potter should have been the manager that Tottenham went for. Who knows? David says, Brighton 0, Arsenal 1. Brighton may have been inconsistent and good, but unlike Brentford, who I rate more, they are steady but not great. Arsenal with their youthful triumph, plus Mopé is a cheat. Oh, okay. Say it as you mean it, David. And I'm sorry I've got to put this one up, Jack. Brighton will fall off again. They are this year's Southampton.
As long as Southampton aren't last year's Southampton, that's a headache. That's hold on. Yeah, all right. Okay, yeah.
As long as they're not this year's Southampton.
Yeah.
That
will
be
that's your epitaph to the season. As long as Southampton are this year's Southampton.
Yeah.
But Brighton. So that's the Saturday games gone, and we will certainly look at the Sunday games straight after this. Yes, when the show finishes here, do not go away. Do not touch that dial, as they say, because coming up at 9 o'clock, which is an hour and 10 minutes away, or 70 minutes to those from the South Coast, we will be interviewing. Well, we won't be interviewing Julian Watts, but ex-Fox Julian Watts will be joining us to have a look back at the last week in Leicester City's life, and we'll be doing it every Tuesday at 9 o'clock. And it'd be good to have an ex's view on the things that I sit and rant about, and maybe he'll tell me I was wrong to rant. If he does, I'll cut him off. Sunday, we're on Sky, Brad, but Jack, it's Palace. Which way do you see this one going? Be very careful. I'm hovering over the mute button as we speak.
I fully understand what's going on here. So talk me through, you guys. What's going on? Because I thought you were going to buy half the backline that you put 9 past, and everything was going to be fine.
It's only because half. Well, one was free and one was only 15 million. That's why.
Still doesn't really excuse it, but I completely understand. Yeah. It's been a bit of a weird one for you guys so far, hasn't it?
Yeah, very, very weird.
Weird, putting it politely, mate. Thanks for that.
Yeah, I'm trying to be diplomatic about it. Do you want to tell Uncle Jack what's going on? What's going wrong over here, then, guys? Talk.
We're trying something different. You see, the last 2 seasons at this stage, we were like 4th and 5th and around that sort of thing, and we've always been looking over our shoulder. This season, we're going to be the ones. As they said, we're the ones knocking on the door, as Breaking Bad would say. We're coming up from behind, which is really scary. I
mean, maybe that'll work. I mean, this is a marathon, not a sprint. Sometimes you get to the end of the season, you gas out a little bit and you drop out, but not this season. You're going to save it for the end, which I appreciate.
We've gassed out early this season.
Exactly. Yeah. And the other side of it as well, I think Palace have been pretty good. I like what Vieira's doing. They're so much younger over there. Watching, Palace for the past few seasons under Roy was kind of just like, wow, let's see what Roy Hodgson can get out of this team before it's all over. And now it does feel refreshed. It does feel, a bit more upbeat. But that being said, I do. you know me, guys. I like me some Leicester. I like me some Leicester football.
Yeah.
This is going to be the weekend, guys. I've got you guys to win.
Well, I love you forever. You can come back on the channel whenever you want. I'm nothing if not fickle.
But then you both said Southampton are going to wear
that shirt.
for sure. But what is going like? How's Bertie playing for you? How's that going?
I like him, Bertrand. What do you think, Brad?
Actually doing all right. I think the fact that you gave him away for free is absolutely fantastic because he's come in, he's done a job, and as much as I love Christian Fuchs, had we got Thomas having to do all the defending on left back, who's still an up and coming youngster who's probably played far more games than he was expecting at Leicester due to injuries, and the same could be said for JJ and lacking depth, to have someone of Bertrand's quality in there, who's won the Champions League, it's no big deal. But I think he's actually a solid a player to have there. I've been fairly comfortable, more comfortable than I've seen of Vestergaard playing in his position. Oh, yeah. But yeah, he's actually quite impressive, mate. To be perfectly honest with you, I think all joking aside, he's actually done a very good job for us when he's called upon.
I always think that was my problem with Bertrand. I always thought he was a player that just did a job, and there was always maybe something extra to get out of that position. Now that we've got Kyle Walker-Peters playing on that left side, or Roman Perraud, we have so much more on our attacks. Our overlay is fantastic. Our relaps are fantastic, and it just seems that we just a lot more to go. So we've not really missed him as of yet. And it's all sort of been nice, and it's only because somehow we've lucked out with Timo Livramento being the best fullback in the league. How that's happened, best bit of business this summer without a doubt. And I really do hope Bertie goes over there and does a number for you guys. But I do think there's more to get out of that position. But right now, you just need a sure defence, don't you?
Well, this is the problem. I mean, we're not as bad as we were this time last season, which is why I'm surprised we're where we are, because we had more injuries last season. We're doing better, but we'd lost Christian Fuchs, as Brad said. Luke Thomas is going to be amazing. I think he'll probably end up being better than Chilwell, but he's still young and he can't be playing in all 4 competitions. And I tell you what Bertrand can do, which most of our team can't, and that is get the ball past the first man at a free kick or a corner.
Yeah.
And I think actually that Ryan Bertrand could actually be, although let me give him his posh name, Mr. Bertrand could actually be our surprise actual, best signing. He brings some stability. He brings some experience. You can hear him talking. And I'm really, really pleased. Don't ask me about Vestergaard after the game at the weekend, but with Ryan, I'm really pleased. That said, Brad, Palace have surprised me again.
Well, they haven't me. They're very much a team that kind of doesn't do enough to have you thinking, say, go down or anything like that. But they don't do enough to kind of get you worried about them being anywhere in a challenging position of any sort of real emphasis, really. They're just sort of there. They're one of them teams that are in the Premiership. More times than not, they're comfortably in the Premiership, but they're not really ever up there in the talk of the town of like your Evertons, your Southamptons, your Leicesters, in terms of European football. See, the thing is, if I wasn't a Leicester fan and I was doing this as a complete neutral, I really wouldn't know where to go with this. Leicester aren't in the greatest of form if you look at their results. Palace have, slapped aside Tottenham. And, typical, we had a bunch of fans that probably came out after that game and near on empty bodily fluids saying over Edouard. And then suggesting we should have signed him over everybody we signed in the entirety of the transfer window.
That's
so I think it's ridiculous.
It.
Yeah, which is absolutely ridiculous because just like a certain Damari Gray, he'll fall off the pace. He won't score week and every week for Palace. He's just not going to do it. Do I just go with the fact that I'm a Leicester fan and I really want my team to win, obviously, and I think we can win at Palace and we've actually got a good record? Or do I just go, knowing Leicester and the way our form is at the moment, Thursday could go wrong and this one goes even worse for us? Or I'm going to go for a draw. I'm going to go for a draw, mate. I'm sorry, but Leicester need to put some results together for me to comfortably back them to win away from home. I'm going to go for a draw.
Why did you have to do that? I had Palace to go down again.
I said so. That's why I did that. Yeah.
I had Palace to go down again, so it shows what I know. I said Vieira won't do very well there. I might as well just give up the job now, mightn't I? I think we'll do well on Thursday in the Europa because Warsaw are in absolutely worse state than we are at the moment. Palace are a bit of our bogey team, and to put it bluntly, I'm going to have to agree with Brad. I would hope we would win something, but I can see it being a draw. But on the long ball, I will be going for a Leicester win. Everybody else needs to have more faith in us than we do, Brad, because Connor's going 3-2 to us. James is going 2-1 to us. And David, at the end of his thing there, went 2-0 to us. So, everybody... this is what everybody's been doing every week. They've been saying Leicester, and we haven't been doing it. So I'm going to do a Steve Lynix and try and swap things around and hope that the draw means we get the win. But for once, I hope Jack's right. Tottenham, who have brought out obviously their end of season video now because they were top of the league for 2 weeks, and that included an international break against Villa, who are doing quite well. Nuno, he's going to be no at Spurs if he keeps this up, isn't he, Jack?
It's all kind of just tumbling apart. It's everything that I remember Tottenham being. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
before Bale. Before they got the hype, before Redknapp, it's like, yeah, that's Spurs. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. This is what they do. I honestly think
do best.
So you look at it now and you think, what, like, you guys did everything wrong this summer. Everything wrong that you could have done has happened, and it must be miserable being a player there right now. It must be like just
Certain ones wanted to get out, didn't they?
Well, but that's the thing. If your leader and your captain doesn't want to be there, imagine how the rest of them must feel. And the most disheartening thing is, if he doesn't want to be there, that's fine. And if you had the mentality of, oh, at least I could play better and then show that they don't need him, you're never going to do that because Kane's not gonna hold up. He's not going to let up at all. And however, on the flip side to that, there is that one excuse of, Harry Kane never scores in August, but he didn't have an August this year because he just refused to have it. So now he's having a September instead. So that means
that's why
pure science,
for training.
By pure science, that means that this year October is his September, and it starts this weekend. So I think, just by pure luck and magic, I think they're going to get it this weekend, and I think it'll be a terrible game, but then Harry Kane will do some stuff.
Interesting, Brad.
No, I
woke him up
in the sense that I think that Spurs are going to have a horrid season at least till January. I would not be surprised, even though it's become something of a rarity over the last few seasons, if we don't see a big money move in January for Kane. I've never seen more of a hissy tiff, a mess of a transfer since Manchester United first tried to sign Jordan Sancho. Since they tried to sign him, I haven't seen a mess of a transfer fiasco since then. I think they'll get him in January, Man City. I think they genuinely want him. I think he's a player that just doesn't look interested. I mean, the fact is, I think for their third goal, he lost the ball, took about 20 years to get up, and by that time, Saka had gone down the other end and scored with it. Yeah. I don't think he's interested. It's almost as if Spurs should have gone for that player that shall not be named due to Jack being here, signed up a striker just in case Kane didn't get his move and he weren't up for playing every week like he's not seeming to be. And for that, literally purely for that reason, and I think there's a few people that haven't found their feet at Spurs, the signings that haven't gone as well as they were hoping at Spurs. I'm actually going to go for Villa to win this. It is Villa to play now for that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because I'll watch them say that and find out it weren't them. I'm looking at them. I'm looking at the wrong bit.
I will also say there is some lasting bitterness to he who shall not be named that will be playing that week.
Yeah. I don't know about you, Chris, but I've never had Voldemort on this show before. We need to get him on if that's the case, because he must not be named.
Oh, Jojo Shelby's a good laugh, actually, mate. You should get him on. He is a good banner.
He'd be the good-looking one here, I'll tell you. I just Spurs never used to bother me. In fact, I used to quite like Spurs because they used to play some nice football. But of course, they became rivals after 15-16 when they came third and blew up at the end when they could have possibly won the league. And since then, there has been that kind of rivalry there. And I just find it really funny this season that, they made the cock up with the ESL. They got their 8th or 9th choice manager. I mean, how embarrassing is that you don't get sometimes you don't get your first choice. That happens. But don't take it sort of, make it so public, do it behind the scenes. But they were just going through rejections. It's like me applying to be James Bond. It's just never going to happen with some of those people that they were linked with. And Nuno was almost like a sort of just a desperate choice, like, God, at least he's a Premier League manager. At least he's, been here for a few seasons. Let's just get in while we can. So it's all going wrong at Spurs. Watching that first half, Spurs were being torn in the North London derby. Spurs were being torn apart by Arsenal, and he had no answer. A manager of worth his weight would be trying to, at least making some changes. There was none. There was nothing that I could see that he was trying to swap things around or do anything. And, they got rid of Mourinho for this guy. They didn't get rid of him for this guy. Obviously, they got rid of him for 7 others first. But, even the guy that they had that was covering, at the end of last season could have done better than this. So I'm sorry, Spurs. You are just the laughing stock of British football at the moment. And I wish I'd uploaded it for Maisie. Let's all laugh at Tottenham. But I am going to go for a Villa win along with Brad. A, because I hope so, just to stuff Daniel Levy, and B, but I honestly think they would. Yank says Villa will beat Spurs 2-0. Connor there. James says Villa will win 1-0. Connor says Chris Wood with no nose kind of looks like Voldemort. oh dear. Connor says they went through managers like Amsterdam strippers go through men. I take it you're speaking from experience there, Connor. And David says, I hate to admit it, but Spurs is playing somewhat like we have so far this season. Well, I think they've been, I think it's just going downhill for them now. West Ham Brentford. This is going to be interesting. I actually predicted Brentford to be the best of the teams that came up. And to be honest with you, they're proving me right at the moment. And I love, as I said earlier, I love to see, no disrespect to Brentford, but the smaller teams doing well. We've got them in a couple of weeks, and I'm going to be honest with you, I am slightly worried. But Jack, this one, where do you see this one going?
I'm with you. I am a little bit afraid of Brentford. They're just ready to come for it, aren't they? Like that. And it's so entertaining as well. Like the Liverpool game was so much fun to watch. Like it was just that's what you want from a from a neutral game of football. Okay, there wasn't a winner, but my God, how much fun was that? And they've just been doing. Brentford have that, like you say, small club mentality of coming up of right. We are gonna, how long are we going to be in this league for? We don't know. So let's make them know that we were here, and they're just doing some great stuff. And then West Ham, I think West Ham has still been doing really good stuff. And Antonio was back this weekend, wasn't he? He'll be back this weekend after his red card against us. Yeah. So again, they have that attack going for them as well. So I think it's very 50-50 for me this game because at the same, it's like my heart says Brentford, my head says West Ham because I just feel like going to West Ham is it's a boring day. It's never fun for anyone, and Moyes is doing stuff right now. So if it was the other way around, I'd probably go. If it was Brentford at home, I'd be going for Brentford, but I'm going for West Ham for this game.
Oh, you're actually. I thought I had you there ready to fill the draw in there.
I know. You know what? This film, if you come on, if you guys watch Matchday vlogs, I go with my heart every time. But I understand there's a competition here, so I'm trying to spread out the play a little bit. Try to.
Yeah, I've got to play this after what I've just said.
I mean, yeah.
Yes. What can you say? I haven't got one for Southampton, Jack. You're all right. It won't be. It won't be played.
I will literally never come on the show again if you make one of those for Southampton. I won't answer. I won't answer the messages anymore.
Hey, don't worry, mate. If we lose at Crystal Palace, I'll have to make one for us.
Well, this is very true. Oh, come on, Jack. I'm like a dating agency for you and other shows.
I know it's getting a bit. It's great. I've got all these creators sliding into my DMs.
Does anybody know a Southampton fan? And I'm like the kid at the back that kind of goes, "Yes,
I know. Unfortunately, yes, we know one.
Sadly to tell you, that'll be it.
Brad, which way do you see this going?
Oh, this is an interesting game. Antonio returned at the weekend, got a late winner for West Ham last weekend. Brentford probably got the shock result of the entirety of the weekend's action with their impressive 3-3 draw against Liverpool, who looked like a dishcloth in that bloody yellow kit. Whatever they call it, excuse for a kit they call that should have definitely made you show if it wasn't on it, mate. Because that's a ridiculous kit in terms of.
I think it was obviously the away kit there, and I think it did get into the top 5 of most horrible away kits.
It's the McDonald's polish cloth, isn't it?
Yeah, it reminds me of that. It also goes with the Mr. Sheen the polish. See, my nan always had the Mr. Sheen and that style cloth with it, and it just reminded me. As soon as I saw it, I thought, bloody hell, it looks like one of them. But no, Brentford are a good side. They're impressive. They're probably ones that a lot of people, they can stay up the season. They're going to do probably not as well as a Sheffield United, but they're definitely going to have a good season, like a Leeds or Sheffield United's first season sort of thing. There's probably not too many people out there that have said they're going to go down or struggle. But I am going to say that this has got all the capabilities to be a high scorer. You've got West Ham in good spirits, good results, doing well. You've got Brentford, the same, very good results. They both acquired over the weekend, and I think they'd be happy in the weirdest sort of way, to walk away with another point, Brentford. And I think West Ham would take it, considering Brentford's capabilities of upsetting those that are in form. So yeah, I'm going to go for a draw with West Ham Brentford.
Oh God, I hate you, Brad.
Guess
where I'm going, guys. Guess where I'm going. Brentford. Yeah, like I say, I love to see it. And isn't it funny that the team that was actually came up via the playoffs is the one that is doing the best out of all the promoted teams? Not unlike Leicester under Martin O'Neill, I hasten to add. I think Brentford are, like Jack said, enjoy the limelight, because I don't think it's going to be a long stay for you. And I'm sorry, Brentford, but I think, like Brad said, this year Sheffield United, Leeds, you could struggle next season. I hope not. I really do hope not, and that you maybe you're a Burnley and you manage to sort of stay up. I want Brentford to win this, not only because West Ham stuffed us 4-1, but West Ham have only lost one, and that was to Man United. But they drew with you guys, Jack. How did they look when it was it was an exciting 0-0, shall we say?
It was an exciting 0-0. That was the game that I had to work for. That was the one this season so far where I just didn't get to see it. But I was told by all my friends and everyone that was there that I didn't miss much. It was just another case of Southampton pocketing the defence and not letting anything through. Another one of those. But West Ham, they do. I think Moyes has really got them. I think a lot of times this season, you have to look at the team and just think which one is the squad that's playing together.
Yes.
And I look at West Ham and I think, they are really playing together. Same for Brentford, they are really playing together. But I think West Ham just have that little bit of quality that will just smudge it forward, unless obviously they bring Mark Noble to take a penalty, and in which case it's never going to work for them. Quite possibly one of the funniest things that's going to happen this season is Mark Noble coming on taking that penalty.
One of the funniest things would be Leicester in one of the cups it going to penalties and Lookman walking up to take the spot kick. I want Brentford to do well. I like Brentford. I was tempted to go for the draw, but unfortunately Brad's gone for that. And I hardly don't like agreeing with Brad. But I think because it's at home, as you made a very good point there, Jack, because it's at home, I am going to go for a West Ham. They have had some good results, and again, David Moyes is doing good. I thought this would be the season, once again showing my lack of football acumen. I thought that last year they peaked and they'd be back down to relegation this season, especially without Lingard. But what do I know? What do I know? Right, let's see. Connor has gone for a 2-2. He agrees with you, Brad. James has gone for a 2-2 as well. Beyond the 90, good evening. Get over that. And fellow Leicester channel, give them your support, guys. Good evening, everyone. Hope you're well. Any thoughts on the Warsaw game? Come to us tomorrow, Neil, at 7 o'clock when we are doing the preview show with me and Josh doing the Warsaw game. So we'll be looking at it then. Join us then. David, I think West Ham will take this 1-0. Let's just have a look. James here. Man City apparently 1-0 down to PSG. I don't know. I must have said something to tickle Static because he's laughing. He says it will be a draw as well. Rich, big up. Good evening, Rich. How are you? Get over to support Rich and his Man United channel, but he does a lot of general football stuff at Rich Sports. Nice to have you along, Rich. Last game, the big one, really, probably is the biggest game of the weekend. some would say possibly that's Palace Leicester, but I think we can probably agree on the fact that it's Liverpool Man City at Anfield. Liverpool are top, Man City are second. 14 points to Liverpool, 13 to Manchester City. In the last 5, Liverpool 3 wins and 2 draws. Man City 4 wins and 1 draw after their opening day loss to Spurs. This is going to be a difficult one to call, Jack.
Nah, it's just going to be a boring draw, isn't it? That's what happens in these games. When the big boys play, it's going to be a dead. No, I think you're right. It's just looking so familiar, isn't it? Liverpool and City at the top, chasing it. There we go. Another season of this, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
I actually think maybe tonight's games will be a little factor into it a bit. But the fact that City can have all that rotation and Liverpool probably be starting somewhat the same team, even with even though City are playing PSG and Liverpool at the weekend, they can still rotate that squad around, which is the most annoying thing. Yeah, won't be amazing amounts, I can imagine, but they will do. But Liverpool just kind of love it at home, don't they? I feel like a Liverpool City at Anfield now with a full stadium. I always tend to back these teams. Yeah. I feel Liverpool, out of all the teams that were affected with no fans last year, probably the one that would have taken the biggest hit on points. But I do honestly look at it and I just think draw.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Liverpool at home have got 7 points and they've got 3 wins and 2 draws in their last 5. And man, does my knowledge interest you? You wouldn't know I'm looking at the computer, would you? Man City away, they've only got 6 points away from home, but they've got 4 wins and a draw, 4 wins and 1 draw. So literally as tight as the old nun's proverbial.
Oh yes.
If you can get any tighter, Brad, how tight are you?
Well, again, that's for a different channel after hours. I can't tell you that on this one. It's not allowed to be leaked on this one. In terms of this one, though, I feel Liverpool will be rattled. I don't know who they're playing in their Champions League game. Probably no one of any note.
They currently just put 1-0 up against Porto.
Oh, well, there you go. So, we beat Porto in Champions League, so anyone can do it. Nothing of note there. They beat
us 5-1 as well.
Yeah, but we topped the group at that point, and that's when a young Harvey Barnes made his debut for Leicester, and I think Ben Hamer played. So, the fact that we conceded 5 in that game tells me nothing. But back to where we were, I think Liverpool were shell-shocked. I think we clearly know what they've got going forward is probably one of the best, if not, it's one of the best we've seen throughout the Premiership since its creation in the terms of, yes, they dive, they throw themselves down a bit, but, Mane, Firmino, Jota now, who's included in that, and Salah, it really doesn't seem to bother them. They know Klopp is very confident that them 4 collectively can get the job done in front of goal. However, they got split open more times than a banana split factory in terms of against Brentford in terms of their defence. Although Liverpool fans will probably claim still, even though they conceded 3 and gone on to concede many goals since his return, that Virgil van Dijk still never been dribbled past. That's something that they kept a ridiculous joy over when that happened. I actually think that Man City will pummel Liverpool because I think Liverpool will be so concerned at conceding 3 against a Brentford side that they feel that if the likes of De Bruyne, Jesus, Torres, etc., are breathing down their defensive necks, they're not going to be able to outscore them. We'll try and shut up shop. And I actually think Man City will win this comfortably, about 2 or 3-0.
Right. Well,
so I'm wrong. I'm wrong because I predicted it with confidence. I'm wrong.
I'm going to say that was a very confident prediction. It's got to be wrong. I mean, just looking at the last time they played, which was February this year, Man City at Liverpool put 4 past them. Before that, it was a draw, then a Liverpool 4-0 win. You just literally can't split them. I've got to go for Man City, though. I honestly think Man City will just edge it. I really do. Like you say, I think it's that it was. Sorry, I put Brad there. That was you, wasn't it? That went Man City, Jack.
No, I went for a draw.
You went for the draw. Sorry, I've.
It's all gone wrong.
Now, this explains why I'm bottom. He keeps tweaking and fixing them every time he goes. I reckon I had about 7 results last week and went, shit, I can't have that. Changed my letters. Just for the league, Jack. You're a witness. Screenshot it at the end just so we know he's not fixing
it. You can go back and watch. You can watch any of these back, Brad, and just double check me.
I'm just in denial of the fact that I'm doing really, really bad.
Static thinks Liverpool will win. I was tempted for the draw, but yeah, I think I can just see Man City. I think, if Brentford can get 3 past Liverpool, how many can Man City get? But there we go. Jack, thank you very much for joining us, and good luck with your predictions. Give us a shout out as to where people can find you.
They can all find us on Matchday Vlogs. You can find us on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. That's a thing that the kids do, apparently. Me and Mike will be on there all the time. I think our show's Thursday night this week for our preview against Chelsea at the weekend, and we'll talk about, the awful game that was Wolves and just how depressing it was at the weekend. But yeah, come watch us, come find us. We're always happy to be here, always happy to joke with you guys. Yeah. My favorite channel to come on. This is.
Yeah, thank you so much. You do sound like me after Brighton,
Yeah. You need to stop paying me get so much to say they're enjoying coming on, Chris.
Yeah. I tell you the thing though, my therapist always says it's good to talk and get it off your chest.
Exactly. That is what all this fan channel stuff has been. It's just been I've saved so much money on therapy, guys. This has been great.
Yeah. Well, hey, we both need therapy with the teams we support.
Exactly.
The link to your YouTube site is in the link in the description below on YouTube, and do get over there. And you do some good shows. Some, and I'm going to say some, and you're not always as conservatively dressed as you are. So I tune in just to see what you're wearing.
I mean, most fashionistas do, my friend. Most fashionistas do. We've always got Esquire on the phone. What's Jack wearing this week? But yeah, we're on the push. We're on the push for 2K subs now, guys. So it'd be fun to sort of get that in the next few weeks. Hopefully, we're pushing there. We're ticking over.
Brilliant. Get over there and support YouTube's version of Gokwan. There we go. Take care, mate. Thanks for coming on.
Cheers. Take care, Jack.
All the
Cheers,
best.
guys. Thanks for having us on. Bye.
Cheers. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye. Thanks to James there for coming on. And as always, thanks to he who must be bowed before Leicester's version of Jesus. Brad, thank you so much, mate. Hope you have a better week than last. Well, I don't hope you have a better week than last week because you've come up to 1 point behind me.
Wow, cheers for that. Thanks for that, mate. No.
Hey, I'm honest. I'm nothing if not honest.
That is very true. I'd rather you be honest than lie to me. That's something else. But yeah,
Brad and me have a love-hate relationship. We love ourselves and hate each other.
That's very true. That is very true.
It is very tight there, though.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one, and it's one why probably we enjoy doing this sort of thing so much without the pressure of scores and making it overcomplicated.
Yeah.
To do it on here, it's just something fun because, as you've seen, we answer these with so much confidence, don't we? We sit here as if we've analysed every single nook and cranny and stat and player injuries, and we know all the updates and everything. And then, of course, for example, we all, even a Man City fan, didn't think Man City were going to beat Chelsea, and Chelsea didn't even register a shot on target. So what do we know as armchair managers? And it's just great fun.
We know nothing. We know nothing, as they say.
We know nothing. We learned it from the book.
It is a lot like us, Brad. Simple. That's the way we like it. Don't overcomplicate it with 3-1s and 2-2s and 4-0s. Let's just go. Who's going to win, or is it going to be a draw? Brad, thank you so much, young man. I'm seeing you on Friday this week, I believe.
Yes, you've got me on for the preview to Crystal Palace.
Yeah, preview and post-match. You're doing it at both ends.
Can't get rid of me. I'm like a stain of some kind, but I won't go on to that. That's for another review.
Thanks very much, mate. Here's to a good win on Thursday, and I will see you on Friday for the Palace review at 7:00.
I will see you then, mate.
And I'm off to get ready for my 9:00 appointment, Mr. DeVille. I will see you later, sir.
See you later, buddy.
Cheers. Thanks very much. So that's what we've gone for here. Let's just bring that up. We have gone for that's bringing me up, which you don't really want to see, do you? So there we go. We have gone for Man United to win, although Brad thinks it'll be a draw. Burnley, are they going to finally kick out their season at Norwich? We think they're going to get something. We can't see Norwich getting anything. We don't think, bless Southampton fan, we don't think he's going to get anything at Chelsea either. Watford and Leeds, it could go either way. I think it's going to be Watford. I think Leeds are going to struggle this season. Wolves, Newcastle, straight across the middle of there, one of each. Which way will that game go? And I don't think any of us will be watching it unless we are a black and white or a gold fan there. Brighton and Arsenal. Ooh, Brad's gone for Arsenal. Me and Jack thought Brighton would do them. Palace. Ooh, nobody thinks Palace will win. But the two Leicester fans think it's going to be a draw, but the guests thought it was going to be Leicester, which is interesting. Tottenham and Villa could go either way. Brad and me, yeah, we're not being biased with the anti-Midlands thing here, but we think it's going to be a Villa win. More though, the fact that we hate Tottenham. West Ham going to get something against Brentford, which is, come on, Brentford, just this one game. I think you might just struggle. I think Man City are going to get it back against your Liverpool, to be honest with you. It is just coming up to 8:30. Thanks to everybody that tuned in. I'm going to be back at 9 with... Yeah, 9:00. It's all X on the pitch. Myself, ex-player Julian Watts, talking about, there's a few topics are going to be covered, but join us back at 9. Get your questions in, and we're going to have a session at the end where we're going to put some of your questions there. But thanks very much. Take care, and we will see you later on at 9:00. Good night.
Hello, Matt Elliott here. Be sure to watch Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube and follow all their social media platforms for all the latest updates and news on Leicester City Football Club.
Thanks for watching Leicester Till I Die. This is Chris saying goodbye and see you next time.
To an end. But the fun doesn't have to stop here. If you have any questions, suggestions or feedback, head over right now to Twitter and Facebook and like, share and get involved. Join us next time.